Hello, and welcome to Hours In, an exploration of various free games, demos, and more. This time, we're burning our retinas in the shoot-'em-up, bullet hell adjacent, aerial combat game, Cygni, All Guns Blazing, which is currently free on the Epic Games Store until August 15th, 2024. Developed by KeelWorks and published by Konami, Cygni offers an interesting take on the classic arcade genre. We play as an unnamed pilot, engaging in both surface-to-air and air-to-air combat against a seemingly never-ending alien race. In between dodging projectiles and swarms of enemies, we also need to keep track of the balance between our shields and our weapons. More on that later. Fair warning, I'm really not much of a shmup player. I enjoy Rekka and Truxton as much as the next person, but I'm by no means an expert. In fact, I would admit that I'm quite bad at games like this, and I've never really been too far into the whole bullet hell subgenre. If you don't know what bullet hell is, it's exactly what it sounds like. The screen is filled from top to bottom with enemies and projectiles that leave almost no places of safety for your tiny ship, character, or anime protagonist. Bullet hells are notoriously difficult, and this game is no exception. You've seen the title of this video. Indeed, the first hour and a half of my gameplay, not including the tutorial, was in fact spent on the first mission, which I did not complete. On medium difficulty anyway, which is the default. I came close, but I never quite managed to clear mission 1 until I switched down to easy mode. Once on easy difficulty, I started to understand the game mechanics a lot better and have a better time in general. However, I'll add that I actually found easy mode to be a little bit too easy, as in I hit the end credits within a try or two of each mission. But perhaps that's by design. What I mean by that is easy mode kind of feels like a training wheels run. You get 3 lives per mission, there's less projectiles, and everything moves a bit slower than on the standard difficulty. It's a really good way to learn the ins and outs, like the general enemy attack patterns and the balancing of our energy points. It's also a really good way to earn points to spend on upgrades for our weapons. But what are these energy points I've been talking about? In Cygni, everything we want to do revolves around energy. Our shields take it, our weapon's power is defined by it, and extra energy that we collect gets turned into the game's currency to be used on upgrades. We have 2 meters, a red one representing weapons power, and a blue one representing our shields. We can freely move energy between the weapon systems and the shield systems, as well as save several configurations that we can swap to and from quickly. We lose energy points from our shields when we either crash into an enemy in the air or get hit by the enemy weapons. If we take a hit, it consumes 1 energy point from our shields. If we don't have any points in shields and we take a hit, it's considered a direct hit. The Orca, our ship, can only take 2 direct hits before being destroyed, causing us to either fail the mission or, when playing on easy difficulty, lose a life. We can replenish our shields by either moving energy points from the weapon systems back into the shields, or by picking up energy points from destroyed enemies. Collected energy points will automatically go into the shield. But if our shields are currently full when we pick up a point, the extra energy is converted to a currency for later use in the upgrade menu. Weapons-wise, we have 3 main weapons at the start of the game. An air-to-air weapon that we fire at flying enemies, an air-to-surface laser beam type weapon that we use to take out the ground-based forces, and a limited missile spread that we can use to quickly get out of trouble. When I first started playing this game, I was going with the idea that I should try to avoid every hit and keep most of my energy in the shields to ensure that I survive as long as possible. But over time, I learned that that's really not the way to do it. For starters, trying to avoid taking any hits at all is probably not only impossible or near impossible, it's also, in my opinion, a bad strategy. Enemies have ways of cutting you off from large sections of the screen by using things like giant laser beams. Very often, an enemy can sort of corral you into a position where you either can't do much damage to anything, or end up missing some helpful energy point pickups. Don't be afraid to take a hit to your shields for strategic reasons. You should also really try to keep a decent amount of energy in your weapons, so you can destroy as many enemies as possible. 1, because enemies drop energy point pickups, which can be used for later upgrades or to replenish your shields and weapons. And 2, because the more enemies you destroy, the less crowded your movement is. Destroying enemies can help clear a path for your ship to fly through. While we're on the subject of upgrades, at this point in the playthrough, I haven't actually gotten too far into them yet, to be honest. I bought more missiles per mission and a toggleable air-to-air homing upgrade, but I think I'm going to need a bit more time with the game before I can really talk at length about the upgrades. The homing thing was pretty helpful since I could turn it on whenever an enemy was either behind or outside of my air-to-air weapons radial range. Overall, I've enjoyed the game so far. I say so far because I am at least going to attempt to clear each mission on the game's standard medium difficulty now that I've gone through on easy. The gameplay was pretty solid arcadey action, the sci-fi enemy designs were pretty cool, and the music was enjoyable. I will say, though, that Cygni is a lot. It's a bit of an assault on the senses, which can make it kind of hard to tell which enemies are on the ground and which are in the air. The missions can sometimes feel a bit relentlessly long, and the game sometimes got a little choppy with so much stuff on the screen, though that could just be on my end. If you aren't familiar with shoot-em-ups, I think it's definitely worth a go. I know I had to turn the difficulty down to get to this point, and I haven't seen many of the upgrades, so I'm not really in much of a position to give tips to anybody, but just to get you started. Start on medium difficulty, but don't feel bad about going down to easy if you have to learn the ropes if it's too hard. As I touched on before, don't worry too much about avoiding every single point of damage, since it's almost inevitable that at some point you're going to be hit anyway. Try to blow up as many enemies as you can so you can collect more energy. Focus on your weapons more than shields, unless you're in danger of dying. You'll hear a beeping and see a warning symbol next to the orca. Remember to aim your weapons a little bit. I often kind of forgot that I could do this and ended up playing it as though I couldn't and flying into dangerous places to get shots off. And that's all for now. Apologies if this video is a bit on the shorter side. I've had a bit of an eventful week. Remember to check for those epic games every week, and thank you for watching Hours In. Did you grab Cygni, all guns blazing? What did you think? Are you a shoot-em-up bullet hell fan? What other games in the genre should I check out? Feel free to let me know in the comments, and thanks again for watching.